continues that blackness is a sign of being inferior. Blackness, or melanin, the chemical that is responsible for black pigmentation, is a sign of being second-rate, of being dirty, of being more like an animal, of being not as advanced as those people who have golden hair and light skin. And that is the biggest lie that was ever put out. It is a lie that goes against life itself. I could take right now today any member of the most racist organization, the most virulent racist possible, and I could dissect them this minute and show huge amounts of melanin in the core of their brain, in the lining of their eye, in the neurons, cell junctions in their inner ear, in their skin in places, in their heart, lungs, kidneys, any organ in their body, and I can say, now tell me what you're saying about blackness. You want to call someone being an inferiority, you could not even be conceived without melanin. No way. So again, those are in Black Dots Part 1, 2, and 3. Let's go through some examples, and I'll kind of work it on through. The examples of it is that there's melanin present in your mother's egg and the father's spermatozoa. And when these two cells meet, the egg is fertilized by the spermatozoa, and the DNA from both cells join together. Where is our dear friend melanin? It is present in the outer layer of this fertilized egg. So the outer layer of the fertilized egg, or zygote, or what you'd call a blastula stage, later a gastrula stage, or the ectoderm, is black. Contains black pigment. And this is true of not only blacks, Asians, and browns. It's true of mammals, higher primates, advanced mammals, lower mammals, amphibians, reptiles, birds, fish. Any animal that has a backbone has the same pattern. And why is that the case? Because melanin is God's felt point pen. What do we mean by that? That melanin is a neurotoxic agent. What is neurotoxic? Toxic, to develop lines of growth, neurons. Melanin sets up electromagnetic gradients, or lines of force, by which as the cells develop, they migrate along these lines, just as you might have a blueprint, and station themselves along the lines of these electromagnetic fields. So melanin is the blueprint drawer in any living animal that has a backbone. Going further, this outer layer of cells invaginates and becomes a tube. And the end of that tube balloons out and becomes, guess what? Brain. The tube is the spinal column. The ball at the other end becomes the brain. All this are occurring from melanated ectoderm, from a fertilized ovum by a spermatozoa. The end of the tube, which balloons out, is known as the neural crest. And from this region, many important cell types originate and later station themselves throughout the body. The cell types are one, very important, the melanocytes, the pinealocytes, and many of the major endocrine glands that later become important glands. Pituitary glands, thyroid gland, adrenal medulla, and very important glands that line the intestinal tract, the urogenital tract, and also that are very important in terms of the function of the gonads. So the entire endocrine system is tied to melanin. But what is said by the racists? says that blackness is a sign of inferiority. Blackness is a sign of something that doesn't even matter as much as whiteness. But yet I'm saying to you that if you go to these biological references in any medical school library, Science magazine, New England Journal of Medicine, any other standard medical journals, you will find tons of references showing the black basis of organization of the entire body. So those are absolutely critical points to consider. Furthermore, going a little bit furthermore with it, there have been pigment cell conferences held every 2 to 4 years, starting in the late 1940s, in which scientists from around the world, in particular South Africa, they had a ready supply of black bodies to do their horrible fiendish work. And probably that's not unique to South Africa. Probably we look at what happened in jail systems here in these states, and it's no different. But we notice that the research does not fit the political agenda. So when you go through these research journals, you have to be aware that people are writing in ways that they will try to pull information out. But then you as a black person have a responsibility to make it applicable to your people. They will not, for example, tell you that yes, there are hormonal differences in black people as compared to white. They will not tell you that black folks tend to have lower white blood cell counts because of a difference in the level of the secretion of adrenal steroids. That will not be mentioned. They will not talk about the differences that occur in terms of other hormones. That will not be discussed in elaborate detail at all. But going further, we find that these various glands that are pictured in the pineal, pictured in the entire human body, and their black origins, they have formed a system called the aplet cell series, standing for those cells that have the same properties because they all originate from the same original site. These cells are called the amine precursor uptake decarboxylase. What does all that mean? That all of these cell types have the same common feature. They all have an enzyme that can break off carbon atoms. What is a carbon atom? The atom that makes up melanin. So they have the ability to shape and mold the melanin molecule, and those molecules are chemical children of melanin. So that's a very, very important feature. But notice, again, Africans talked very heavily about chem. They spoke about what? When you speak about going into the study of melanin, and in particular you pay attention to the study of the pineal gland. What is the pineal gland? The pineal gland is a gland present in all humans. And again, most animals with a backbone. This is a gland that's present right in the center of the head. It is known as the third eye. It is a gland that's referred to in the East Indian literature as the